So let's talk briefly about the NSUserDefaults, and we'll just make a quick little game here. This code shall work for both iOS and tvOS devices. We'll just call the project NSUserDefaults, and let's head over here to our game scene. Let's clear out what we've gotten here, and so a common thing that you're going to use the NSUserDefaults is just saving information about what the user did, and a common one would be, the highest level that they made it to, things like whatever they've got inside of their inventory. And the nice thing about this is it's in some ways it's kind of like a singleton, in the sense that all of your classes can tap into the same NSUserDefaults. So it is a great place to save information, I think. And to get it started, all we have to do is come over here and write let defaults, and by typing let in there, don't think that you can't change the NSUserDefaults. NSUserDefaults equals NSUserDefaults.standard userDefaults. So now in any of our functions over here, we can access these defaults. So a common thing you might want to do is first check to see if there is a value stored already for whatever you're kind of querying. So what you might do is say if defaults.object for key, and everything that gets saved inside of the defaults has a key to it. And you can think of this just like you would in a property list. So for example, essentially the NSUserDefaults is a property list. So here's, for example, the key. This is this column over here, and it's got a value to it over here. And with our NSUserDefaults, we can also set different types. A string would be an object. Bool, there is bool for key, integer for key, and things like that. So We'll take a look at those. But all right, let's say next level maybe would be a good one. So we'll check to see if this does not equal nil. All right, and that means that what? It exists. So let's just put a little print statement in here that says next level key was found. I must be slightly to the right. I make stupid typos like that. And then let's just test this while we still can. Was not found. Okay, so we'll run this, and what we do, we should see that the next level key was not found, obviously, because we haven't saved anything to the defaults yet. So you can see next level key was not found. In which case, what you might want to do then is go ahead and just set an object. So you would say set object, and then the value of that would be, let's say, level 1. No, let's make it a little bit more literal. We'll say the forest. All right. Isn't that where most video games start off, the forest? I don't know. And then the key is going to be, of course, next level again, right? Now, when we run it, we're still going to get next level key was not found, but we will set one. Okay, so run it again. All right, we got that. Now, let's run it one more time. And this time it's going to say next level key was found. All right, that's great. And at that point, what you'd probably want to do is take what's inside the NSUserDefaults and save it to a variable that you've declared up here. So let's say next level. This is and you don't want to make this a delay. You want to make that a variable so it actually can change over time. And so just initially go ahead and set it to just nothing at all, basically, or any other default you want it to be. And then we'll say that next level is going to equal, and then defaults. Well, we can start copying these. Dot object for key, and it's going to give you a little. It says it cannot assign value of type any object to type string. So when it gets saved in there, it is any object. If it's an object, it's an any object. Okay, that could be a string, it could be an array, it could be a dictionary. So what you're going to have to do is say that, all right, no, I know this is going to be a string here. Now, where you wouldn't want to do something like this is if you hadn't tested to see if it existed or not. So you don't want to just come out here right off the bat and say that next level is going to equal this as a string, because what happens, you're forcing a value out of this, and if it doesn't exist, that right there would cause it crash. So usually when I'm playing around with the defaults, I'm going to first make sure that I test to see if it does not equal nil. So now what we can do is say that Yeah, well, let's just print out what next level is. So we'll just come down here, next level, and let's run it again. The forest, and of course too, if you're going to do this, you'd probably want to make next level equal to, or just do the same thing right down here, right? So, you know, in the sense of your game, you're making sure that no matter what happens, next level is actually being saved. So that's how it works with strings. Let's take a look at some of the other examples here. So you could also put in here defaults.bool for key. So let's see, or I'm sorry, that should be set bool if we were going to set it. So it's going to be set bool, and you're going to either go with true or false, and then, you know, bool name or whatever, bool key, whatever you want to put in there. And then you've also got set integer, and let's see, set float, set, well, here you can just type these out and look at all different ones. Let's do this though. Let's set something a little bit more complicated. Let's make an array, and we'll put that in there and retrieve it. So let's create a variable up here called array to retrieve, and we're going to specify that this is going to be a type of we'll just make it string. Okay, and yet again, check to see if there's key name sum array, and if there is, what we'll do is first test to see if we can make it into an array. So what we do is write if. There's a couple ways you could go about this. You could say defaults.object for key. If defaults.object for key is array, and then string. And let's see. Oh, you know what? Is it this? Okay, I think that's right. I haven't done this in a little while, and I'm kind of winging it. All right, so, and if so, then we're gonna say that array to retrieve equals this as that. Okay, and actually, there we go. Same thing that we did over here. We force it to be of a certain value. Now, of course, we are initially going to run into the problem where there is no array here. So let's then just make one. We could just say that array to retrieve is going to equal, and okay, dot append. Let's put it in here, Justin. We'll put a few names in here. Charlie. Okay. And all right, then we're going to say that defaults dot object for key, or I'm sorry, I keep doing that, set object. Gotta remember I'm setting it, set object, and then this is going to be the array to retrieve for key, and that's going to be some array. All right, so the first time around, we're going to set it, so let's just do that real fast. Okay, we didn't print anything out, so it's all right. And then, of course, this time around, though, we do want to print out what the array to retrieve was. And remember, we're pulling that out of the defaults here, okay? So this is not running, so if we see Justin, Charlie, Bob, we're basically, we've succeeded here. Okay, and there you go. And, if at that point, you could also iterate through it. So you could say for name in array to retrieve, and then you just print out name, right? Which gives you a little prettier version than this down here. Let's watch it one more time. There you go. Boom, boom. Right? Huh? Cool. Glad I was able to pull this one out right here. I was a little nervous that I did not get that right. And you know, you might not even have to put array there. Let's just see. No, looks like it does want that. Could we have done this though? That's the real question. Oh, okay. Both of them work. All right, so that makes a little bit more sense actually, because of course when we initialize our array, or we initialize it, we're specifying it with that same kind of pattern right there. So okay, cool, right? And looking at this now, I suppose we should just do the same thing over there too, right? All right, good. Just making sure that that works across the board there. And I guess while we're at it, let's do one more thing. We'll create a dictionary up over this way, and we'll save the dictionary out. And let's just call this place nodes dictionary. Okay, and this we're going to specify as a type of let's just go string and string. I'll make this worth your while if you pay attention. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll save inside of here the name of a node that is on the scene, and then we'll save its location, but we'll do this via a string instead of a CG point. And we're gonna go over here. Let's just drag out some simple color sprites. So we'll just call this node 1, and this will be node 2. Can you see where I'm headed with this? Node 3. All right. And just so we can tell them all apart, there we go. Oh, we got a little RGB action here. So node 3, node 1. All right, good. Let's just run this really quick, and just so you can see where these are all going to start at. There. Okay, so they're right there in the middle of the screen. And we'll go over here to back over this way. Let's copy the beginning part of this. And let's just use the same key name as the variable, but we'll just capitalize it. So there's a little difference there. So first check to see if the place nodes dictionary does not equal nil. We'll put place nodes dictionary right over there. And then, of course, this time around what we're going to test is whether or not it is actually a dictionary. And put back here string and string. Okay, let's start closing those guys off. And if it is, what we're going to do is make our place notes dictionary equal to, we can just copy this again, equal to that. Of course, this time around, just like we did with our array over here, we're going to say as string. And if we wanted, we could, of course, print out the place nodes dictionary at that point, but obviously we don't have one right now. Okay, but what we want to do is make it so that we create one based not on just kind of an else statement over here, but based on the initial position of those objects in the scene. So what we're going to do is not work with our touches began, but actually with our touches moved and our touches ended. So I'm just going to copy these out and change this to moved, and then touches ended over here. And maybe I should have let it autofill in because it gives us the well, some extra code that we'd want, but we'll just type that back in. This is what usually comes stuffed into your template. It says for touch and touches, and then let location is going to equal touch dot location in node. There it is, self. Okay, we'll use that. Oh, actually, we don't have to use it over there. So just when we're moving these around, what we'll do is we're going to write for node in self.children, and we're going to see if cgrect contains point, and that's going to be the node.frame, and then if the node's frame contains the location, we get to what? Just move it around. So really saving to that dictionary is not going to happen until we've lifted back up again, but that will move them around, and you could just build this real fast and just see if that's working so far. So I'm going to press down on this, move it over here, got it, right? And then afterwards, what we're going to do is take our place nodes dictionary, and of course when we pull up this file, down the road, it will have some values in there, so we're going to remove them all, and then we're going to write for node in self.children, and then take our place nodes dictionary, and we're going to basically we're setting the key value first inside of here, and then we do an equal sign and we set the actual value. Okay, so node.name is going to be the key. All right, so in our cases it's going to be node 1, node 2, node 3, and then we're going to save out the CG point value, so it's X and Y position, as a string. And to do that, well, here's what we want it to look like. I'm just going to type it out. So we'd want something like this, 30, 40, okay, where we're comma separating the X and the Y from each other, and we have these opening squiggly brackets right here. Okay, so to do that, we can leave in all that stuff right there, and then just like as you were printing out variables, you just do that backslash there, or /, and then we just put in here node.position.x, okay, and .y, of course. Okay, so that is going to combine together to be what we want, and then after that we just write default.setObject, and then here's our place nodes dictionary, and then again for key that's going to be this right here, but with a capital P. And if we come back over here to the top, if all this succeeds, then of course what we're going to want to do is actually place all of those objects again where they should be. So to iterate through our dictionary, we write for the key, and actually these are just names of my choosing, and then the point is going to be the value. Okay, so you could replace those with any names that you want in place nodes dictionary, and then we write if self.child node with name the key, the key does not equal nil. So being a little cagey about it, we're going to make sure at least the child is there. Then in that case, what we're going to do is we're going to say that self.child node with name the key dot position is going to equal, and then you just write CG point from string, and then you put in there the point. So obviously the first time this runs around, nothing's going to happen, but all the stuff will stay in place. But then once we move things, move it. If you get a little ahead of yourself, it'll let go of it. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to build it again. And what we should see is, sure enough, all of those objects back in place again. And you can see what the dictionary looks like down here. So we've got node 1 with the value of 68. Forget the decimal stuff. 68 and 162. Node 2, 968, 3, and so on. And we can do this as many times as we want. And all of these fun little things will be back together again. Bring that guy right over there. Okay. And let's just see. All right, there we go. So that's how you can save a dictionary and also iterate back through it again. And if you only cared about the value, I don't know if that's really some. You could do this. You could just kind of get rid of that and then not use these. But most likely, if you're going to iterate through a dictionary, you're going to be curious about the value and the the key and the value. And of course, at any time too, you could also test to see if the key equals, I don't know, node 1. Then you can do something specific for that, and so on. Okay, this is how I'm going to leave you guys with a nice, fun little kind of more of a working example than I thought we were going to end up with in this tutorial.